The last time out, Arsenal were thoroughly embarrassed by Liverpool, but that was so 2018. It's 2019 now, and the Gunners got off to a great start with a 4-1 win over Fulham. Stevie, and looking at this scoreline on paper, you would think that this is a convincing enough bounce back for Unai Emery's men, but what did you make of their performance?
Well, as you rightly said, if you just looked at the score, you think, oh, comfortable. But it was far from comfortable for a long period. I mean, if this game had finished 8-5, nobody could complain. Yes, Arsenal make chances and score goals, but defensively, again, they were a shambles. Sessegnon should have had a couple. Mitrovic, with a couple of better headers, could have had a couple as well. They did get one. I mean, this was typical Arsenal right now. Great going forward, but defensively, wow, they're all over the place.
And even with Arsene Wenger, we always joke that this was a time of year where it starts to go down and decline for Arsenal and for the rest of the season. And speaking of that, we're talking about them against Fulham, which is the team that is battling relegation right now and looking like they will be relegated. So you'd expect Unai Emery's men to get this convincing result. But we were talking to Paul Mariner, and he was just like, unconvincing. So does this mean that top four is probably slipping from their grasp?
I'm not sure that it was ever in their grasp, to be honest. I mean, they're around 5th or 6th now. That's kind of probably the best place for them, and really, with the ability and the players they have, that's probably where they're going to end. Realistically, they were never going to be in the top 4. I mean, they had an incredible run of 20-something without getting beaten, and just managed to get in the top 4 for a couple of weeks. So they're not going to do that again. They're not going to go on such a run again. They will finish outside the top 4. And if you look at the squad and look at the players they have, then that's probably the right place for them.
Well, they do also have a number of injuries, but Unai Emery said he's not looking to splash any cash in January. So if that's the case, as Stevie said, top 4 just might not be their goal this year. Well, despite a shock defeat to Wolves, Tottenham have bounced back, this time with a win over Cardiff City. Many would have picked them to get this result today, Stevie, in a convincing way as they did, which is probably why you're rolling your eyes. So let's move on from this result now. They're second in the table, only just until Manchester City have their big game against Liverpool. But are they looking like possibly the true contenders to give Liverpool the race for the title?
No.
Still Manchester
Why?
City.
Can you come up with a reason why?
Because of the way they're playing, just the dominance. I know it is only Cardiff City.
I'll tell you what, the way they're playing is the way they've played the last 3 years. All of a sudden, they're in contention for something. All of a sudden, we all get behind them. We all see how great they are. What a great unit, back, middle to front. And then they'll throw in results like they did against Wolves last week. So you can't rely on them. You know, to win a title, a Premier League title, you have to be consistent, and the players themselves have to know that every single time they've got themselves in a great position, they've thrown it away. So, not consistent enough.
Well, to win a Premier League title as well, you have to contend with a number of things, including having a pretty deep squad, which is something Manchester City do have. And Spurs may not have as deep a squad, and they're probably going to lose Heung-min Son soon for the Asian games coming up. That's after the Manchester United game. Do you think this is going to throw them off any at all?
Listen, when anybody loses one of their strike force, then it's going to hurt them if there's injuries or there's too many games and you can't rest a player. But I'd like to go back, if I can, please.
Yes, sir.
I said they're not consistent. And I want to explain that. They're not consistent because every time they step on the field, you're not sure, well, is this going to be the slip-up? That's what I meant. When I talk about consistency, Manchester City and Liverpool, when they step on the field, you don't think they're going to drop points.
I feel like
that's why I'm saying
Spurs have been playing.
That's why I'm saying Spurs won't win the Premier League. Every time they step on the field, you're asking yourself, are they going to slip up? Are they going to slip up?
Are they good enough to finish second at least then?
At the moment, no. I think they're the third best team in the league. Manchester City and Liverpool. And I will repeat, every time they step on the field, you're thinking, how many are they going to win by today?
All right, we'll take it from Stevie Nicol, as he said. Thanks so much, Stevie. We'll continue tracking all the action from the Premier League this week here at ESPN FC.
Look, everybody's jumping in this Paul Pogba thing at the moment in Man United. And I understand. I do understand, because it was so bad. It was so negative at United for quite a while that anything would have been up. But I'll keep going back to my point. This is, you know, talk to me again in 6 weeks or 3 months about this, because they've just played, you know, Cardiff, Huddersfield, and who did they play? Did they? Yeah,
Bournemouth.
Sorry, Bournemouth. So 2 of the worst teams in the Premier League, as Tottenham proved today again with Cardiff, who are struggling and they haven't got much finances, and Bournemouth, who are probably one of the least formed teams in the Premier League with injuries. I mean, in the last 11 games, including the one against United, they've lost 9. They've lost 9 straight games. They've only won twice against 2 of the poorer teams. So, you know, do I expect Paul Pogba to be bullying those teams that he's playing? I do.
But would he have scored those goals under Jose Mourinho had he still been in charge?
No, probably not. Probably not. But he has got more of a freedom. But it doesn't take away from the fact this is Manchester United and one of the world's great midfielders, allegedly, against the poorer teams in the Premier League that are struggling. If you look at the games before that, albeit when Mourinho was there, you know, you had games against Arsenal, you had games against Juve, you had games against Valencia and Liverpool. Those were tougher games. So I think you've got to get I personally think you've got to get a balance here.
I don't think he would have scored those goals had Jose Mourinho been. No, listen, when you're setting a team up, you have to have some sort of organisation, and players have to have some sort of discipline.
Yeah.
But Jose Mourinho took that too far. When you have a player like Pogba, you give him a couple of little things that he has to do, and after that you go, you know what? There's a reason why you're a World Cup winner. There's a reason why you were 100 million, because you've got a great football brain. When you see things, then you go and do what you do. That's what he's doing right now. He doesn't feel any pressure about, oh, can I go in the box, or do I have to sit, or do I have to go? Now he's just playing.
Yeah.
No, sorry, no, I get that, but it doesn't take away from the fact that United, that he's flat-trap bullied three teams that have been there for the taking, right? So,
but he hadn't done that early in the season against some other bad teams.
On the odd time he did, and then you had games like at Southampton away where he was wretched.
Well, half the time he wasn't even playing.
Absolutely wretched. But, you know, look, this is not a discussion about is Paul Pogba a very good player. Of course he is. It's a discussion about, is all of a sudden the worm turned because they've played against these 3 games. And I think they've got Tottenham coming up amongst 1 or 2 other teams, some bigger games. And then we're going to find out a little bit more about what he's going to bring to this United team.
Players with 6 months left on their contract free to start negotiating as of today. And guess what? Aaron Ramsey has been linked with a move to Turin. Juventus, Juve Ram Raid, one of the headlines in the British papers. Juventus in £31 million offer to Ramsey. Paolo, what do you make of it? Would he fit in Turin? Would he even get in the team, do you think?
Whether he get in the starting 11 is a question. I mean, you could look at the midfield that Allegri's normally using at the moment, which is a 3 with Miralem Pjanic in the middle, and normally one of or 2 out of Matuidi and Bentancur and Khedira running alongside him. And I think you could definitely see Ramsey taking one of those jobs, again, alongside Pjanic. It's a box-to-box role. We know that he likes to get forward and break the lines. We know he can make those runs. And I think it definitely fits as a Juventus move. I mean, they've made a good sort of recent history of picking up these players on, we call them free transfers. Of course, it's not free. You still spend a lot on the signing bonus, on the agent's fees, but cheaper than you'd be getting these players if you had to spend a transfer fee on them. Guys like Andrea Pirlo, guys like Sami Khedira, Emre Can. I think he fits that mould, and I think that at the price you'd get him for a 28-year-old player who's still got plenty to offer, it's kind of a why-not situation for me.
Certainly the way Juventus have been operating in recent seasons. Yeah. Paolo highlighting some of the players they've got via free transfers. Makes perfect sense
look
for
at Blaise Matuidi coming in as well. I mean, these kind of players for 20-odd million or whatever it was, which is chicken feed in today's market. Look, if you go to a club like Juventus, going to be vying for almost every trophy, you might be coming off the bench. No, you probably will be coming off the bench a lot. It's a squad game, and it would give Allegri another set of legs in there. One that's experienced at club and international level, one that can get you a quota of goals and get this clipped off. I got a soft spot for this guy. I mean, I really have. I got a soft spot for anybody who, and fair play to him if he gets a free transfer, fills his bank account because I've moved to a big club. Anybody that's playing professional sport and has a bone sticking out of their skin, right, and is able to come back and have the career he's had and do well for himself, I'd tip my cap to him, because it's not only the physical side of the game, It's the mental after that. And when he had that compound fracture at Stoke, the very fact that he put a pair of boots on again was amazing. And to have the chance to go to one of Europe's biggest clubs, fantastic.
Ah, yes, the first extra time of the year. I say, boys, I'm impressed.
Yes.
Ah, yes.
I heard that one before.
I'm impressed.
Ah, yes. Somebody talking to you there.
Through this show with nary a blip.
10 o'clock in bed last night.
I don't think he gets this. He goes all serious on this.
No, I don't.
You do.
No,
Let's see what you give us this time.
All right, well, let's start with this one. Harsh red. How about that? Hey, Stevie, if Liverpool bags the league, would you come back to Twitter? Did you leave Twitter?
Yes.
Well, he's
no, because I left Twitter, so I don't know.
You've left Twitter?
I didn't leave.
Did you start Twitter?
I'm more selective.
No, he's left Twitter, but his Twitter app, he hasn't, what's the one? He hasn't deactivated his account. He's just
still, you're just not looking.
Because I don't know how to deactivate it. And I don't...
Dan Thomas has basically taken the app off his phone.
There you go.
Right.
But
he can't use it.
It's still going, so he can't use it. And he can't sign on his desktop to use Twitter because he can't remember any of his passwords.
And I can't remember the passwords anyway, so it's going to be very difficult regardless.
I'm just finding it here.
I'll tell you what, if somebody said to me at the start of the season, and I had been off it then, I probably would have said yes.
Yeah.
But now the fact that they're favourites, I don't really want to go back on Twitter.
Would Liverpool win the title? That's not the first thing
I'm going to say no.
You would think about doing in celebration.
I know the first thing I was
telling this last week. People are still following him. He's gaining followers.
Yeah.
How's that?
Like by the hundreds. Even though they're not quite getting it, he's not.
How's that possible?
Not using it.
Right.
Yeah, yes, he's still going up.
Right.
He'll be back on it. He'll be back on it.
But not because of Liverpool winning the title. That is not going to be the spur, I don't think.
He'll be back on it.
Paolo, one for you. On a scale of 1 to 10, this is going back to the slightly more serious side. Scale of 1 to 10, how important is it for Milan to finish in the top 4 this season?
They've got no chance.
Oh, I mean, 10. I mean, whether 10. Or not they're going to do it is another question, but it's 10 that they need to be in there. Yeah, they're a club who, like many other clubs, are sort of relying financially on the money that they could make from being in the Champions League, and that's entirely the idea when you go out and take Gonzalo Higuain on a 1-year loan deal, but with the option to complete that deal for a lot of money at the end of it. It's the expectation you're going to be in the Champions League. They need to balance the books. 10 is the answer. Whether or not they're going to be there is another question. Whether or not Gennaro Gattuso is the right manager to try and get there is another question. But how much do they need it? Yeah, 10 out of 10.
Right. 11 if you were allowed. If this one went to 11, it would be 11.
I get the feeling that Gattuso's not going to be there, barring a huge upturn in fortunes.
There for now.
Yeah, I mean, they got that win against Spal, but even that they were hanging on at the end, and before that they hadn't scored in 4 Serie A games, so even with Higuain.
Do you know what the one crazy thing is with Gattuso? And I'm not saying that this becomes a complete argument for keeping him in place, but when you go through the calendar year that's just finished, 2018, Milan were joint with Inter in the 3rd most points picked up by a team in the calendar year. So, purely in return terms, purely in terms of how many points the team picked up in the last year, he's sort of done what he has to. Whether the team's playing well enough, whether it's ever acceptable for Milan to go 4 games without a goal.
Are you related to Gab?
1984 that happened. Another question.
Pablo, are you related to Gab? Gab was trying to sell us this last year that Napoli was so fantastic, but they never won. They never won Scudetto, but if it had been any other year apart from that one, they would have won it.
The calendar year argument is used quite a lot, isn't it?
Listen, I'll have a whole different conversation with you about Napoli, and look, I think what Carlo Ancelotti's doing there is great, even if they don't win the league. I think they're playing fantastic football. Milan are not playing fantastic football, so my willingness to defend them is a little bit lower. Napoli, I'm definitely with Gab. I'll defend what they've done pretty strongly, given budgets, given the opportunities they have compared to a team like Juventus. They've been very good.
Whilst we're on the boring subject of calendar years, I'm going to give you an even more boring calendar year, right? Kilmarnock.
Oh, here we go.
Kilmarnock in Scotland, who, by the way, never mind Milan have got no money. Kilmarnock haven't got a pot, right, compared to the rest. And Stevie Clarke has, I think, got the most points in the calendar year ahead of Celtic, Rangers and all the rest, who outspend them by gazillions. All right, I'm taking that a bit far. That's a proper calendar year.
Right.
But you know what, at the end of it, it's going to mean
Nothing.
Unfortunately, league seasons
not
don't
a lot.
run on calendar years.
And they
Do
still
So,
only get 5 games.
if we're hearing this right, what you're saying is Stevie Clarke should replace Gattuso at Milan.
well, I'll tell you
Wouldn't be the
what,
worst thing.
you heard it here first. You know what we're like with headlines. Well, ESPN FC will have. He's done a great. He's done it's just an amazing job at Kamala. It's just no money, yet it's incredible.
Yeah.
I hope he does get another job. I can tell you're really interested.
Can never get you to stop talking about Scottish football. You just always...
Every now and again, I just I throw it in there, right, just to try and get the profile up.
He's a big roots man, isn't he?
Yeah.
I love your roots.
Cumnut. I want to talk about. Might start talking about Cumnut and the Glens in a minute. You're absolutely lost.
Third Lanark. That would lose everyone. Yeran Samuel wants to know what you made of Adrien Rabiot's comment saying Tottenham is below him. Rabiot...
I did see that.
No.
Oh no, I did. I mean, I know he's got. Look, he's had a big argument with the sporting director at PSG, apparently. Maybe it was lost in the translation. I don't know. I think what he means is he's got higher aspirations to go to. I mean, if you're saying going to Barca and Tottenham is the same, it's not. It's not the same. But you maybe could express it in a different way. No.
Yeah, it's a silly thing to say. If he actually said that, that's the height of stupidity.
Be a great player for Spurs, by the way.
Yeah, he would. Absolutely.
Well, you know, look, is Barcelona a much better move than Tottenham? Of course it is. But there's a way. If he has said that, there's a way of expressing it.
Yeah.
And come here and learn how to express yourself properly. Apparently.
What would he say about Kilmarnock? That's what I want to know.
Oh well.
Favourite TV series? Asks Joy.
Homeland.
We were just talking... Oh, Homeland's right up there.
Yeah.
We've been talking about these Netflix series that we've watched
I'm
recently.
sorry. I'm going to have to go with the old school.
Yeah? Blackadder?
No, Only Fools and Horses.
Only Fools and Horses, yeah.
Oh, no,
mean,
right,
just
from
never.
the UK, we're in the
Yeah.
US now.
Yeah.
I don't watch TV series yet.
Could be any TV series.
I don't watch any.
You know?
No. Not one.
The Blacklist, Greg? Yes?
Oh,
You've
tell a
got plenty
lie.
on that.
Tell a lie.
He sits at home and watches
I
stuff.
do. Tell a lie. Blue Bloods.
Blue Bloods?
Aye. I like Blue Bloods. Big Tom. Big Tom's the top man.
Yeah.
The Night Manager, have anybody seen that?
Oh, yeah. No, that was superb.
Blacklist, I've watched a bit of The Sopranos. Ray Donovan got a bashing for a while.
Yeah.
Homeland, obviously.
Yeah.
What was the
Paolo?
What was the
Paolo,
one with
what
the guy
you-
that made the drugs?
What are you watching over there?
Do you know, this is
Breaking
really...
Bad.
I feel like this is neither current nor reflective of most of what I watch. But at the moment, weirdly, I'm watching The Crown and I'm really enjoying it. Claire Foy's fantastic. So yeah, I'm watching The Crown right now.
Yeah.
I don't watch it, but I know somebody that does.
Thanks for reminding me, Paolo. That's on my list. I need
Me?
to watch it.
Outlander,
You know what? I've just remembered.
Game of Thrones.
The Good Doctor.
No, I don't watch that.
Yeah.
Do you do?
I do. You had me. I was
Just a little bit.
kind of deep there for a bit.
What are you most looking forward to in 2019, football or otherwise? So the field
golf.
is wide open. Golf. We're counting down the days, aren't we? When's the Connecticut
Golf,
weather?
when the weather heats up, which
Yeah.
will be not for another 3 months,
Yeah.
minimum.
Actually, we could have been out there today.
No.
55 degrees.
You will never get me out there today.
It's too cold. You can't swing. You got to wear like 3 jumpers.
Well, and the course is not open.
No, well, that was the slight problem in the plan there. What are you looking forward to? 2019.
Well, hopefully Liverpool win in the league at bleeding last. Oh my goodness!
It's only been 28 years.
It's only 28 years.
Yeah. Isn't it amazing to think there are people alive who are 27 years
Imagine
old
what
who've
the
never
odds.
seen
Imagine what
Liverpool.
the odds would have been 28 years ago and Liverpool not winning a title.
No, it would have been astronomical.
It's mental.
We should put a tent
That would be nice.
Paolo, 2019. Anything you're looking forward to? Any hopes?
You're asking.
A new haircut.
You're asking this question. You're asking this question at the end of New Year's Day. So the honest answer, I'm looking forward to my bed. Is what I'm looking forward to. But
It looks like it.
I'm also looking forward to seeing whether or not this Juventus team, which has so obviously been built to try and win the Champions League, see whether they can do it. I mean, they've got a tough draw with Atletico Madrid. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the knockout rounds of the Champions League and seeing whether Juventus can make that final step.
Yeah,
Okay.
good luck with that one.
Yeah. How about the Nations League final? That's something to look forward to.
Well, it is. Well, I tell you, it will be if we get sent there. It'll suddenly garnish some great importance.
Ooh, okay, yeah.
Which we might be, depends on the budget.
Oh, do you know what I am looking forward to in 2019?
Yeah.
I've just thought of the correct answer to this. The correct answer, I'm looking forward to the steak dinner that Gav Marcotti is going to buy me when Krzysztof Piątek makes 20 goals. Serie A Awesome Podcast, we made that bet.
Oh, okay.
I'm looking forward to my steak dinner.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So he's nowhere near 20, I take it, no?
Well, no, and Gab, there's a fair chance.
He's got 13. He's 13 at the halfway point of the season. I think he's doing just fine on that
He's
target.
buying your dinner and he's eating it for you as well.
And telling you what cut of steak to get as well.
Yeah, he is telling you how you should have it cooked. Seriously.
All right.
What do you watch?
Well, we were just talking about. I got all these things lined up on Netflix ready to watch, but they include the two football ones. The Bobby Robson film is superb, by the way.
Bobby Robson
absolutely
documentary
superb, and the Sunderland documentary I've just started to wade into.
That's a little different.
Little different.
Yes, there's a lot of.
It's kind of watching a train wreck
TV series.
in action. They're not really. Well, they are. It's a TV series, but
How many episodes were there?
8, I think. 8?
Oh,
there were 8.
No,
Sunderland. No, the Bobby Robson thing was just a one-off.
It was a one-off.
The Sunderland, there were 8 episodes. They followed him for an entire
was
year.
it?
Yeah, Sunderland till I die.
Follow them from a year, and they got worse and worse every week.
Yeah, it
Well,
was
they did it,
definitely watching a train wreck.
It was.
But I'm with you, old school. Blackadder, comedy starts and ends with Blackadder was
I do like
fantastic.
the CIA things, the Secret Service things in the US. There's one on at the moment called Killing Eve,
Yeah.
and the other one called The
How long are we
Bodyguard.
going to sit here and talk about this, Robbie?
Final, and we're not going to answer this. Miscellaneous maestro, who can do the most sit-ups within a minute?
Forget that. No,
We're not in any fit
gonna give
state
it to
to
Paolo.
try and conduct that experiment. Paolo, maybe you can weigh in
I reckon.
on the entire FC crew who could do the most sit-ups in a minute. I don't know.
Not me.
I have no idea. I'm confident it's not me. I mean, you've got ex-pros over there. I mean,
Yeah,
of course you
yeah,
guys can
ex-
do more than me. I'm sure you
X
can.
being the one.
Very ex-Gab.
We spent
Just
20
called you
years.
Gab, but-
We spent 20 years doing sit-ups.
Yeah.
So I can assure you, when you finish,
Have
you
you
don't want to do another one.
Have you seen Stevie's Derby?
I got a sneaking feeling
Raw
Stuart.
power. Hey, don't be fooled. Raw power.
Sneaking feeling Stuart Robson could
Robbo.
crunch a
Aye,
few.
Robbo would want that.
He's a straight batter, Robbo.
Yeah,
You know, he'll go out, he'll have a couple of glasses of wine, and he'll be in the gym.
but he's in the gym the next morning.
Not quite how we roll.
No, we don't.
We don't quite rock and roll that way. We're a little different.
We walked past the gym to get to the good bit.
Yeah. All right. On that note, we're done.
Mind you lost a bit of timber a couple of years
Yeah,
ago.
I did lose weight, but no, sit-ups.
I thought you said
No
we were
thanks.
done.
Yeah, we were.
Well, let's go. Come on, it's New Year's.
We are.
People want to
indeed.
go home.
Off we go. Paolo, thank you, sir. We will be back. Actually, Stevie, you
Yes,
won't.
go
You're
ahead.
off on your travels. We'll be
Aye.
back tomorrow. Review the Chelsea and Man United games, amongst other things.